Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, Baruch. So now we're at the time when we share what we heard from the message, share our understanding, some ideas. I think that there isn't one person here, I know in my case, definitely, when I've wondered about my role, my purpose. But I've always felt, even from the time I was really young, that I had this destiny. It was bigger than myself, that I always, and I, even from the time I was very young, I thought outside the box, like you were speaking about before, Mauricio. We really have to think outside the box. And when you read about all these people, every single one of them had a role, no matter how small it was. But it's like I love the idea of thinking that we're all instruments in this great orchestra that God has put together, and that each of us, sometimes we play our part in tune, sometimes we're a little out of tune, but when we're all working in harmony and in sync, it's beautiful music that we make. These are beautiful metaphors, and I
What
love.
about the song?
Pardon?
What about the song you just practiced?
The Sim Shalom, what about it?
No, the one you said you practiced the song.
Yes, well, Yannette sang it this morning, Sim Shalom, and I'll
Oh.
do it next week when I come to see you at for Shabbat, and maybe on Sunday when we sing there. But it's the story. It's really wonderful when you think about how each person, we're not aware of their role, and yet when we look at it from the outside, we can see that they were chosen for something very specific. Every year or every time we read the same stories, we always see something new. It's just, to me, it's absolutely amazing.
Yesterday I was my brother, he's had joined a choir, that he's retired. Anyway, he's singing this big work by Carl Orff, Carmina Burana, it's called. Anyway, I'm watching it I was just listening to it and watching it on my phone, and you see everyone's part in it. And at one point, the triangle, okay, the person who plays the triangle, he's very intense. He's looking at it, and he has to come in like ding, ding, ding. He comes in
Time.
right at the right time. But even that little triangle, it makes such a difference in the whole symphony.
It's amazing.
Like amazing.
Exactly. And he might think that he's far less valuable than the one who plays the grand piano or has the operatic voice, but he's just as important. And that's what each of us has to know, that each of us has value. We're all important in the grand scheme of things.
What just to understand, the woman who wanted to take in Moshe was the Pharaoh's daughter, right? So think of it, she must have known he was Jewish.
Yes, she did. It says.
So she knew he was Jewish,
Yeah.
and the other boys had to be killed. So she had to be very brave to
That again.
ask her, to permission to take in a Jewish boy.
I doubt she asked permission.
Well, whatever, she had to be brave to do that.
Totally. Exactly. Yeah, definitely. That's where, we have to pray that God will give us the courage in the moment that we're going to need it. I remember moments in my life where I would be so incensed at what was going on in the world, and I wanted to do something so strongly to help, and I would go, please use me. But then when I had an opportunity to be used, I'd be afraid something would happen. I couldn't open my mouth. I opened my mouth when I didn't need to, and when I needed to, I didn't. That's why I love these stories. They're so human. They show us that it's so easy to fail, but we always have. Remember, he talked about the spiral? We continue to go up, and we make mistakes, but we never give up. We just have to keep going.
It's hard after we fail to keep going. And that's where we have to just persist,
And that's why we need it.
persevere.
How many times have I said, Miriam, I'm quitting?
Yeah.
You say to me, no, you can't. And I got a beautiful message from this man who lives in Mexico. He was a student of our rabbi, and Jesus. I sent it out to a few people. He wrote to me in Spanish, and he was really thanking me for continuing this work.
Wow.
Out of the blue,
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it was really very, very important for me to hear that, because we're small. We're a very small community. Our voice is it's like dust in the wind.
Yeah.
And yet there are people out there who, every once in a while they write in and they say, wow, I really got something from this message. And that's what's really important.
Yeah.
Thank you for the message. Honestly, when I start to think about what's going on Shemot, there are the change to forget our God is not a change that took a lot of time. I mean, 80 years probably. But the point is that this word, obviously, when somebody is going to tell you, oh, forget your ideas, forget your beliefs, forget everything to become a slave, that obviously will not work like that. Will work when when they start to show you different kind of mentality, and just a little by little by little by little, then you realize that you are another person, that you became a slave. Okay. And that is the process. In this case, Israel, honestly, well, start the book when talking about 70 persons who were in at Egypt. They descended, okay, and then they feel good, okay. Oh, I'm prosperous. I'm making more money, and I feeling stronger. So I forget that I have to return back to our land, okay, because I feel comfortable, okay. And then there are some change, okay. A new Paro that didn't know Joseph get to the throne, and now he's the new ruler, okay. And this guy obviously tried to it's a process. First, he feared people, okay. He start to kill people. So that is an instrument to make us forget our God. Then he gave a lot of work, because keeping you busy, you don't have time, for example, to rest, to think, to just working. And it seems to me that this is today's word for everyone. The notice, the news in the papers, the news of the media, social media, is talking about to give people fear, okay. All are bad news, because bad news sell. And then also the world is giving you a lot of work, okay. And I know myself for sure, okay. So these two instruments that in the plan of the creator Okay. He said at the beginning, okay, you have to keep busy, but not exhausted. Okay.
Right.
And then also you have to fear God, but not fear men.
Right.
Okay. So in continually, um, eh, well, we are living in a world that is trying to stress. And I remember this week about uh remember Matthew chapter 13, that is talking about that is a person who seeds a plants. Okay, and there are different fields, there are different soil. Okay, and say, okay, once he throw the seeds in a kind of different soils. One of them is stress. Okay. Okay, people is rushing, working. And then what happened to the seed? Died. Okay. And then again it says, okay, there are another kind of and the other one was afraid, to give afraid,
Yeah.
fear.
Careful.
Okay. Okay. Uh in in and then the seed died.
Mhm.
Okay. And it seems that the problem is not the seed, the problem is not the person who is working the land. The problem is that the soil is not prepared to receive the good seed,
Mhm.
the good seed. Okay. Uh, and then there is one very good land, good soil. In this good soil makes that grows and produce the seed on its time, and be fruitful. So in when I was reading this portion, I was like amazed because this is the problem that I can see honestly also in my life. Okay, this week has been very hard of work. I have like 2 months working very hard. Okay, feeling exhausted honestly. In But it's like, oh God, please help me to fear you, to keep your commandments, because sometimes I forget when you are under stress. Then your mouth, you need to control. Okay. So and then also uh, God, well, my boss just told me this week at the beginning of the week, Mauricio, I need you to go to the east side of El Salvador. You gonna go in a shopper just to see some land that we need to go with some parts of the government, just in order to make some works, but it's easier to see from air. Okay. So Mauricio, the great man of faith, go into that shopper. Uh, and I remember that it was windy. Okay.
Yeah.
So at the beginning, I was like, oh, reciting Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd. Okay, before getting, okay. Uh, and then at the moment that the helicopter started to fly, then in some part of the traveling, uh, we enter into a very stressful wind. Okay,
Wow.
so the shopper just go down.
Mhm.
Okay. And I remember that I was trying to, I start to swap, and and, and and try to hold from everything, and I was like, oh, the great man of faith right now is crying out for help from heaven.
Yes.
Okay. And you know, I was feeling dizzy, and I don't know what kind of, oh, and then in some moment at the air, the door I was on the right side opened. Okay.
Yeah.
So
While you were up?
open, yeah, I was there.
No way.
I thought it was, I heard that it's 500 feet, okay, of, of and then open, and and then I was like, oh, what am I gonna do? Just take the door and close it, try to close, and then the pilot said, oh, what did you do? And I said, I didn't nothing. It was not good close, okay?
Oh,
And they had to land again and close the and you know, obviously, it was like, oh God, when we returned back, I was like, oh, like, you know, touching the land, giving thanks God, okay? Uh, but the point is that when you feel in this life that you are alone, you don't have the control, and you don't have the capacity to 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 have the control in your hands. Okay, it's not, you depend on other person, you depend on I don't know, the weather, the nature, I don't know.
right,
It's not in your hand.
right,
You are not capable to control the situation.
right.
Okay. And then I was wondering, um, so the great man of faith show weakness. Okay. And you know, it was very to show me some humble, but at the same time, it came to my mind Moshe, because Moshe in this week portions, well, he raised up as a prince, okay, very strong prince.
Mhm.
And during 4 years, he was like Paro, I would say, not Paro, but like
The
Paro,
sun, the sun.
because he's part, yeah, he's son of Paro.
Yeah.
So he was like a kind of god,
Mhm.
and then he saw something that that was not just. He was looking for the slavery, and he said, oh no, that's not correct, that is not right. Okay. And then, like, you know, um, so he took the justice in his hand. Okay. Then he lost all the privilege, and he needed to run away. Okay. But he didn't need to run away, you know, honestly, because they were slaves.
Yeah, but
Okay.
he killed the guard.
Yeah, even the guard, because remember that on the receipt says the Paro became the owner of everything. Okay, everybody owes to Paro.
That's true.
So he didn't have to run away. I mean, he could say very easy, oh, this guard just, you know, and that is very easy for a person like him.
Yeah, but didn't it say
Um,
who was going to kill him? I thought that's what
yeah,
yeah.
and so uh, he need to run away.
Yeah.
After that, he go to the desert, and this man start to live under the fear. Okay. So then he saw something, a bush, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was on fire. Okay. So he just approached to this place and start to talk with this flame. Okay. And that is something incredible, you know. And the point is that I would like to tell you that there is the first order that God told to Moshe, okay, is the word in chapter 3, verse 5, okay. Um, and it's very interesting, okay, because the says, God says, come no nearer. And okay, and then it says, remove your shoes from your feet.
You're on holy ground.
Okay, you are on holy ground.
Yeah.
Okay, but there are two things that are very important on the first order. He could say, are you Moshe? Or do you believe in me? No, the first command was, hey, don't close to me. Okay, it's like you have to know your position. Okay, but eh, then it says, hey, take your shoes off. In this word in Hebrew is shal naalecha me'al raglecha. Okay, but it's very interesting that raglecha comes from a root which is ragil, which is custom. It's like you are doing a lot of things in your life in the same way. That is in Spanish we say custom, costumbre. Okay, I am accustomed to do this all my
Right.
life. So
Right.
the first thing is, okay, take your custom. Okay, and then naal, which is a sandal, is also could be read the same words of naul, which is a lock. Okay, you know,
Lock?
a lock,
A lock?
that
Okay.
when you put in your house or in a very treasure place, you put a lock. Okay,
Right.
that's so. When we started to talk today about thinking out, okay, of our customs,
Right.
is like open the lock. Okay,
Right.
so that is the very first command of God. Hey, change your mentality.
Huh. Right.
Okay, hey, change your habits.
Right.
Hey, open your mind.
Change your attitude.
Okay, change your attitude.
Yeah.
Okay, because if Moshe didn't do nothing at that moment, then the fire probably just the flame, instead to keep, will let the place, okay, and find another person. So Moshe had to keep his sandals out, okay, and obey God, okay. And that is very crucial moment of Moshe.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
when
Like an act
when
of
we want, yeah.
interesting
So
An act of what, Peggy?
when
submission.
Yeah,
yeah. So the point is that I was talking about a lot of things before, but it's the very same thing. Okay. The key to start a new journey to do not become a slave all my life. Okay, is something that comes inner. Okay,
Right.
from it's your mentality,
Right.
it's your attitude, it's the way you think that you have been learned, is thinking out of the box. Okay, if not, then probably we will be a slave all our lives. Okay, so that is the so are you good soil to say, oh, okay, that's true. I and that is the seal. Okay, uh, Yeshua said that the good seed is the Torah. Okay, so what I want to just to say is, just to close, is that sometimes uh, people wanted not to be free. Okay, people rather to be a slave.
Mhm.
I'm looking at this in my country, honestly.
Not only your country.
Okay, because it's very comfortable just stay at home and look in the world is finishing and not doing nothing.
Mhm.
Okay, not have the bravery to get up and stand up and say, no, this is not right. Okay, uh so think out of your box. I don't know what kind of box is what we have. Everybody has different kind of boxes. Some are very tiny, some are like a refrigerator. So I don't know, but the point is, uh, do not start to just choose to follow God. Okay, uh, it's very sad. For example, in my country, that people is just following some kind of rules. They are not thinking. In the saddest part is that people is happy to be a slave. Okay,
Yeah.
and to teach this to my kids has been very hard,
Mhm.
because you know people start to say, oh, respect your authority. Yes, I will respect my authority when that authority is not against the Torah. Okay, so um and also is, I hope, and my prayer for this Shabbat, honestly, is that all the prisoners be released in Israel. The Hamas fulfill the agreement, which is for sure against Israel. Okay,
Exactly. They're celebrating.
they are celebrating, and
Not
that
Israel,
is,
Hamas.
yeah. And the point is that Red Cross right now, yes, we're taking care of the Hamas boys, but they never did nothing for Israelis.
Yeah.
So that God returned them alive and safe. That's and we need to pray for them, because
Yeah.
there are many people who has been under suffering since October 7th.
Yeah.
One was Wager, who suicide herself
Yeah.
because she couldn't live with the horror she saw. Okay,
Mhm.
so under 1 year, more than 1 year inside those tunnels, I don't know how is their mentality. They
Yeah.
has been honestly like slaves. So
We just have to
um
talk to the survivors of the Holocaust who were 4 or
yeah,
5 years like that in
yeah.
horrible conditions. It's absolutely horrible. Yeah. But you know, it's
So
interesting as you were talking about the 70 years, 70 to 80 years that it took for the Israelites to forget God and to become slaves in Egypt. And the first thing that came to my mind was that the Jews in Russia, it was 70 years that they were under communism, and they became the slaves of communism until finally the doors were open and they were allowed to leave, and many went to Israel, but they had lost the all understanding of God. You know, they left because they were free to leave, but they didn't leave as believers. And you know, and so many poured in, and you see that in many of the countries, you know, Russia and Spain and Germany, all these things, the same cycles happen over and over and over. It's amazing. And I don't know how far we are from the last cycle when Israel will be a theocracy. It won't be a democracy and it won't be any isms, but it'll be under the God of the universe. I don't know what it's going to take, or even if we'll see it in our own lifetime. But we really do need to pray for our role in all this. Where do we stand up? Where do we speak out? How far do we go? You know, I don't want to be like Moses, who went ahead and killed, you know, the Hebrew guard on my own because of, you know, the sense of vengeance or of a false sense of a messianic, like, you know, that we need to know that God is leading us and guiding us, and that needs to be our prayer, that God is leading us each and every day. I just wanted to show just quickly, if I can, let me just share this because you sent me something here. This is you. Can you see it?
Peggy, what is that?
That's Mauricio in the airplane, in the
Oh,
helicopter.
could you do it again? Oh, okay, show it again. Sorry. Oh, okay, that's the
there I was like, the Lord is my shepherd.
yeah.
That's a lake, okay, in El Salvador. That this lake is called Ilopango, okay, and this is a volcano, okay.
Wow.
So on in this in that lake, you can see trees inside the lake because it was like a con, and then I like they said that that's the reason why the Mayans disappeared suddenly, because this volcano exploded, okay,
Oh,
and supposedly is the uh, second largest explosion,
wow.
okay, in the world. So imagine all the lake, a volcano, and then everything goes down. So that's why there are so many trees inside the
The lake.
the lake. Okay,
Wow.
so in big trees, 20 meters, 22 meters. Okay,
Wow.
so people around the whole world comes to El Salvador just to dive there and see the forest inside the lake. Okay,
Amazing.
yeah,
Amazing.
that's amazing. So even uh, the son of the Nike brand,
Right.
uh, uh, he died in that lake.
He
Okay,
dived? He dove into the lake or he
no,
died?
he died. He died. Okay,
Wow.
because he went to dive in there, but he was drunk.
Oh,
Okay, that is no good idea.
He was
no.
drunk, you said?
Yeah.
He dived when he
The
was drunk.
son, yeah, he was diving when he was drunk.
Wow.
So
Oh, that's stupid.
that's stupid. Yeah.
Wow. It's interesting, you know, it's like a prophetic thing because it says in that one, you know, one of the prophecies is the mountains will be laid low, will become plains. And, you know, all the earth is just going to change. You know, we have so many things to look forward to, and we have to remember this when we're watching what's going on in the world. So let's continue to pray for each other, to pray that God will show us clearly our purpose and our role, that we'll not be afraid to step into it when we need to. How many times we want to say things to our family or to people that we know that they're just so wrong in how they're looking and in their attitudes and their understanding about the world. But it's it's not an easy walk that we have, and we need the courage and the will to keep going. So anyway, thank you everybody for joining the service today. Thank you, Mauricio. I think you'll be bringing the message next week. Good. Perfect. If you could send it as soon as possible, that would be wonderful. Every week he gives me a heart attack. Anyway, my dear friends, it was wonderful to see you all. I want to
Just one question for Yanet. Want to know if they changed the name of the rabbit now that it's a girl, not a boy?
Oh, that's funny. Well, you can check out that. Yeah, you're becoming like Brian.
Yes. Well, we're very similar.
All right, Richard, God bless you in California. Stay safe. And we wish everybody the rest of the Shabbat. Have a wonderful Shabbat. Enjoy the day. Take the rest while you can, because you never know when God is going to say, okay, out, move, let's go. We got work to do. So I want to wish you all Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Welcome.
Shabbat Shalom y buena
Shabbat
semana.
Shalom. Buena semana.